Good evening and thanks for joining us. Feels good to be back after a long break. You're welcome to the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. There's a lot to talk about in the world of sports tonight. There's football in the English Premier League. Two matches being played. One has been concluded. One just started right about the time we were entering into the studio. Leeds and Leicester. It looks like it's going to be an interesting game. And of course, the game played earlier in the day. Fulham were able to beat West Brom 2-0. Olaino, Nigeria's Super Eagles right back, was on the score sheet. There's a lot to talk about. Like I said, we're going to be giving you a slice of handball. Hopefully, we'll be talking wrestling on the show. Also, attempt a preview of the UEFA Champions League matches to be played tomorrow. We'll also take a look at what is happening here in Nigeria. We talk about stadium inspection with regards to the upcoming AFCON qualifier that involves Nigeria's Super Eagles and Sierra Leone. The league is about to start as well, talking about football on the domestic scene, the Nigeria Professional Football League 2020-2021 season. Some stadiums have been certified fit for use. We'll talk about all of that on the show. Some stadiums also, the owners being told to upgrade their facilities. We'll do all of that for you tonight. Once again, I want to welcome you to the show. Sit back, relax. There's a lot to talk about tonight. All right. Before I introduce my partner on the show tonight, let me bring you into all that we're doing. This is the first time in a long time, and of course, we want you to be a part of the show. We want you to talk to us. We want to let us know how you feel. How does it feel to have us back here on the show at this hour? There you have it. You can get across to us on Facebook, Channels After Sports, and on Twitter at Channels_Sports. You can also send us a mail, sportstonight@channelstv.com. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight. It's going to be very, very interesting. All right, so that's it on how you can be a part of the show, just in case you're joining us for the very first time. But for those of you that have been part of the show for a long time, you know what to do. So let's get talking on the show. Let's make it interactive as possible. All right, let me introduce my partner on the show. It's been a while that we've been together on set, but I have the pleasure of introducing the deputy editor of Sporting Life, Onyenwuchi Nwachukwu. He joins us on the show. Onyenwuchi, I want to welcome you to the show. It's been a while, actually.
Yeah, quite a while. It's good to be back on the show. We've missed the show, and the vibes, the feedbacks, and the intrigues, the controversies. But the most important thing is that we're here.
Yeah, we're alive.
We're alive.
Sports had to take a back seat because of everything that's happening
COVID-19.
around COVID-19. But it's good things are cooling off in these parts, and the mercies of God responsible for that. And it feels good to be back here talking sports. We're going to start with wrestling on the show tonight. It's no longer news that the president of the Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, has declared his intention to contest to be a board member of the United Wrestling, the board that controls the global wrestling, and he's had some support sort of from the sports ministry. But let's quickly give you this piece of information. Team Nigeria set for World Championship in Belgrade. There you have it. After weeks of uncertainty, Team Nigeria will attend the 2020 Senior World Wrestling Championships in Belgrade. That's in Serbia, their first competition since February, no thanks to the coronavirus pandemic. This follows approval from the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, for the team to be present in Belgrade, albeit with small contingent of 3 wrestlers and a coach, subject to final approval of the United World Wrestling. 3-time World Championship medalist and Commonwealth champion, that's Odunayo Adekuroye, will be there. She'll be contesting the 57-kilogram category. She'll be joined by fellow Commonwealth gold medalists Blessing Oboro Dudu in the 68-kilogram category and Aminat Adeniyi in the 62-kilogram category. They will be competing at the Global Showpiece Tournament, which runs from the 12th to 20th of December. So that's it for... and the trio will be led by coach of the female national team, Purity are cool. All right, to get some perspective to all of these things that we've been talking about, the president of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, joins me now to talk about this and a whole lot of issues. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Daniel Igali.
Good evening. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there's a lot to talk about, but let's just get straight into it. You heard me talk about the all clear signal that you guys have gotten, talking about going to the World Championship in Belgrade. Fill us in with all the necessary updates.
Well, the United World Wrestling has been very desirous to, but we've obviously been observing the COVID-19 rules and have cancelled every tournament up until the last one, which is the World Championships, coming up from the 12th to the 20th of December. We're going to be going with about 3 athletes. And Odunayo Adekunle, and the coach will be Purity Akwa, and of course I'll be going because it's very likely that will also take place.
Okay, all right. Thanks for clearing that up. If I may ask, will this in any way affect the other wrestlers or the preparation towards next year's Olympics? A lot has been affected by COVID-19, but do you see the fact that we probably wouldn't have, that we've had our contingent reduced in a way, would it affect our chances at next year's Olympics?
Not necessarily. We don't really want to expose every athlete right now to a tournament of that nature anyways. We would like to graduate them into the scheme of things. So I think the top 3 hitters should go to this tournament. From January, we'll be able to expose a lot of our other athletes to 1 or 2 tournaments before, hopefully, the Olympic qualifying tournament in March. So I think we'll be ready by then.
Okay. All right. I think we need to put a pause on things. We'll get back to, we'll try to sort some things out. We'll get back to Daniel Igali so that we can all hear clearly some of the things he's saying is, helping us to put some perspective into a whole lot of issues. So we get back to him when we're able to sort things out and put our ducks in a row. But Oyewichi, let me quickly come to you. From some of the things that he said that I was able to get, he talked about the 3 athletes that have already read out their names, and he talked about how this year has been decimated by COVID-19. But of course, they still get the chance to go to Belgrade. Probably that might just be their only major event in 2020.
I mean, the federation has done the right thing. These 3 wrestlers are the best as far as this country is concerned. And what they have done is to put merit first. Some federation would have put sentiments and used all other external factors too, but they have said that the best 3. Odunayo Adekunle is the best wrestler in Nigeria at the moment. She has already qualified for the Olympic Games. In this tournament, in the World Championship, she has 3 medals. Two bronze medals and 1 silver. The other 2 have not won. Though they have conquered Africa, they need to be there. Since they have also dominated Africa, they need to go outside the shores of Africa to go and do the country proud. So I think the federation has done what every right-thinking administrator should do. You have lean resources, but what you have done is to make sure that the 3 best athletes, the wrestlers, and 1 coach. Another federation would have said officials. They go on jamboree. But the chairman of the president of this federation, Daniel Igali, who has also won the Olympic Games, had decided to say, okay, the 3 wrestlers and 1 coach. Streamline and in accordance with the resources available to them.
All right. Okay, let's get back to our conversation with Daniel Igali. He's back on to us. Let me allow you to continue from where you stopped. We're having issues hearing you properly, but I know it's clear and better now. So let's just continue from your explanation as to why we have a reduced number of athletes, and probably it's been a blessing in disguise.
As I was saying, we're going with just a few athletes because I think at this point, they are the best prepared athletes for the World Championships. But I must thank the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, who came in. I spoke to him a week ago, and he came in and has given us the go-ahead to embark on this trip. So this trip is being sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports. So we want to use this opportunity to thank the minister for his very kind gesture.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm very sure a lot of people have asked you this. You have declared your intention to run for elections and become a board member of United World Wrestling. That's no secret. It's out there. And I want to ask you, even though you've stated some of the reasons why, but you also have the opportunity to say it and let the world listen to you, why you think you should be on that board and how it's going to benefit Nigeria.
Well, I think sports is no more going to train 3-4 hours a day and competing. It's the sports politics is even bigger than it ever was. And I often give the example of what happened to me at the quarterfinals of the Olympics, where a referee who was supposed to have undone me was outed by a Canadian referee to my coach. And that was how we went and protested that another referee should be brought into the match. Well, that match ended up 2-2, and it was a referee's decision that I won. So imagine what would have happened if the other referee had been the one at the center of the events in my match. I'm going to be a member of the Bureau because I feel Nigeria needs to be better represented, not only at the continental level, but at the international level. It's sad right now that Nigeria does not even have one continental president out of 26 Olympic sports in Africa. Egypt has over 10. South Africa, a lot of the North Africans have essentially monopolized sports politics in the continent and even at the international level. So my desire to go there is to ensure that we have a say at the table when we're making decisions about wrestling at the world level.
Okay, from here, do you think you have the support you need, maybe from the federal government, the sports ministry? We've seen a lot of pictures. You've also tagged the sports minister, even while we were having this conversation with you. But do you think you have the support you need, especially to dislodge those who are already entrenched in their position to give Nigeria a voice in global wrestling?
Well, it's going to be I have to be very honest with you, it's going to be a very tough one. And that is why sometimes when I hear people talk about sporting federations in Nigeria, and when you have been a federation president for 8 years, everybody feels you've had your fill and you should leave. In fact, when you look at the international level, everyone who is at decision-making level at the international level, they've been in their federations for between 15 and 20 years. And that is when you will even have the trust of the international community to be able to vote you into such sensitive positions. So my election is going to be very tough, very keenly contested. I'm doing the bit I can. The Minister of Sports was very supportive. He has asked me outrightly to tell him whatever he can do to support writers to all the nations that are going to vote for us. So at the level of the ministry, but I think it will take a lot more than that. We need to have a lot more alliances with other countries, which we are doing behind the scenes, and hoping that it's going to pay off at the end of the day.
Okay. Wish you all the best in that. Let me just give one quick one before we let you go, Mr. Igali. Next year's Olympics, I know that a lot of plans have been affected by COVID-19, and everybody's just trying to reset. Now that the federal government has given the all clear for sports to resume, when should we begin to see activities from your federation on the domestic scene?
We were even planning to have a tournament in this, but I know these COVID-19 rules are very stringent, so we might be probably having our first tournament in January. We're working on that. I want our athletes to have about 3 local tournaments next year before the Olympics. So we're talking with different states and sponsors to effect those tournaments before we have the Olympics next year. So our athletes can get to compete quite a bit locally before we even go to our international tournaments.
Okay, I know I said it's the last one, but while you were responding to the question, I thought of this. Um, has anything changed? Because I know you have a target. You don't talk much about what that target is, but I know in your mind, as you're talking to me, you have a target. Has COVID-19, I mean, in terms of what we get at the Olympics, has COVID-19 changed all of that, or is still the same?
COVID-19 changes nothing. Our plan is to ensure that our athletes do well. COVID-19 affected everybody. That should not be an excuse. So we are still on par to do whatever we feel we should do. And that is no hiding anything. That is to ensure that we win our first medal at the Olympics in 2020.
Okay, all right. We just leave it at that. All right, Daniel Igali, we want to thank you for your time on the show today. Wish you the best in all your endeavors, and hopefully Nigeria will do well, as you have said, at the Olympics and all the other competitions leading up to the Olympics. Yeah, so that's been having a chat with the president of Nigeria Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali. All right, so Uchi, let me come back to you. He said a lot. One of the things he said that I liked is that COVID-19 shouldn't be any excuse for anybody because it affected everybody.
Absolutely.
And so you don't need to start chopping and changing. Whatever targets that you saved, since it was a playing field, it affected everybody. Nothing much should really change.
Yeah, I agree with totally with Daniel Igali. I mean, the Olympic Games have been postponed, and it gives everybody the opportunity to prepare. It was supposed to have been held this year, but nobody expected that there will be a pandemic of this magnitude. But be that as it may, there's really nothing anybody can do than to prepare, and that's what he's doing. I mean, if you are sending your best 3 wrestlers to a world championship, what it means is that you are already preparing them ahead of the Olympic Games. And from what he has said, he was able to convince the sports minister. You know, the ministry has complained of lack of funds, but I think that the minister, having seen the seriousness and the transparency in this federation, you know, had to, you know, come up with funds to sponsor,
Find a way to support.
to support them. And you know, from the way they have gone about it, it shows that these people are serious. So COVID-19 is really not an excuse. You know, he has said it. He's focused. He's experienced. He has a pedigree. He has been there before. So these are the things, the expertise he's likely going to pass across to his wrestlers. And remember that he used to be the technical director of this same federation. So, and like he said, I think it's high time we stop all this pulling him down syndrome. You know, all the top-class administrators in the world has been there for a very long time. We should start projecting our best 11. The problem we had in the past is that we project mediocres. And when they get to that level, it's obvious that they cannot fit in. But if we project the best, he's one of the best.
With a track record.
With a track record, a pedigree. He has won gold in the Olympics. I mean, that is the highest. That's the pinnacle of the career of any wrestler. So if he gets there, there's no way he's not going to pull his weight. I remember he was one of the administrators that ensured that wrestling returns to the Olympic Games some years ago. He was at the forefront. So he has already made friends with the international community.
And Nigeria would benefit from his knowledge. All right. Okay, we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll take a look at what's been happening with handball. Handball is the first sport to resume after the federal government lifted the restrictions on contact sports. So we'll take a look at handball when we return from this break. We'll also give you a slice of football, all for you on the show. Join us again. All right, welcome back. And it's time to talk about handball. Like I said earlier before we went on that break, handball, first contact sports to return after the federal government lifted restrictions on sports. And the handball Premier League is currently going on. Before we take a look at results, tomorrow is going to be day 4. Everything started on Friday, and a lot of things have happened. But how impressed are you, Oyewuchi? They seem to have gotten everything right. You know, they've always talked about being ready anytime the federal government, and a lot of federations who told that I took it with a little bit of reservation because a lot of them were saying, look, if they tell us to go ahead today, we're ready tomorrow. But Handball has shown us now that, look, they're ready. And it's showing from the things we're saying.
Yeah, that's the result of putting the right people in the right places.
Yeah.
People with ideas. The president of the federation has said it time and time again that this is where he wants to take handball to.
Yeah.
And he has demonstrated he has matched words with action. I mean, you have a league where a very long time handball was in comatose.
Yeah.
Now this administration came on board and they have revived handball. And what they have done is to sell the brand to the corporate world. What they need is they want accountability, they want transparency, and they will key into your agenda. And that's what they have done. I mean, you can imagine the spirit, the happiness among handball players in Nigeria that they have every week, they have a game to play. And what it means also is that you are going to get the best.
Yeah.
You are going to get a formidable national team from this league. When you also pick players from the diaspora, then you form a very solid team.
Yeah.
So we wish the federation well, the players, and hope that there is continuity.
Yeah.
From
all
here
of
they
this.
move to the next level and also to the lower league, to the grassroots, so that there will be seamless transition to the top.
All right, so like you have on screen, Edo Dynamos and one of the other teams setting the early pace, talking about the defenders setting the early pace in the 2020 Handball Premier League. And it's been very, very interesting. All right, let's just, you see pictures from the competition right there in Abuja. Okay, let's just quickly run through some of the results in the men's and women's category. I mean, a lot of matches have been played already. Let's start from day one. There you have it right on your screen. Rima Strikers up against Plateau Vipers. 30-26 in favor of Rima Strikers. COS Shooters from Borno had a walkover over Borno Spiders. Kada Stars lost to Lagos Seasiders. Niger United lost to Kano Pillars 19-20. The Defenders lost to Safety Shooters. You have Delta Force also losing to Confluence Stars. This is some of the results. Let's flip quickly to the women on day one. You also have Defender Babes losing to Seasider Babes. Imo Grasshoppers defeating Kada Queens. Edo Dynamos defeating Safety Babes. Plateau Peacocks defeating Desert Queens 30-11. Adorable Angels 28-25. They defeated Bedouin Queens. We go to match day two. The results: COS Shooters defeated Niger United. The Defenders were up against Kada Stars. They won 26 points to 30. Plateau Vipers lost narrowly to Delta Force. Lost to Delta Force. We have Lagos Seasiders 26 points to 23 in favor of them over Confluence Stars. Safety Shooters defeated Kano Pillars 20 points to 19. Let's talk about the women day two. There you have it. Imo Grasshoppers lost to Safety Babes. Edo Dynamos defeated Defender Babes. Seasider Babes also beats Bedouin Queens. The results there you have on your screen: Desert Queens losing to Kala Queens 16 points to 21. Let's go to match day three. The results: you have Borno Spiders squeezing past Lagos Seasiders 26 points to 25. Kada Stars losing to Plateau Vipers 19 points to 23. The Defenders beating Rima Strikers 29 points to 22. Chief of Army Staff Shooters losing 22 to 31 against Carlo Pillars. And we flip quickly to the women. Match day three. And right there, Adorable Queens losing to the Defender Babes 33 points to 36. You have Desert Queens also losing to Seasider Babes 16 points to 23. Imo Grasshoppers also lost to Edo Dynamos. Plateau Peacocks losing to Safety Babes. These are some of the results after match day three, men and the women. Let's see the fixtures, what to expect tomorrow. Let's see quickly for the men: Safety Shooters up against Lagos Seasiders. Confluence Stars up against Plateau Vipers. The Defenders up against Niger United. Kano Pillars up against Borno Spiders. Kada Stars up against Delta Force. That's it for the men. And for the ladies, I think it's just one fixtures for the ladies on match day 4. That will be Benue Queens up against Desert Queens. So we will keep monitoring what's going on in the Handball Premier League, especially with regards to match day 4. We'll see what's going to happen there. So just some of the results, interesting score lines, and it's good that the league is back on.
Yeah, I'm really interested in Imo Grasshoppers. I mean, it's a team from my state and a traditional team, team that has won continental glory. I mean, when it's like a renaissance of the old days of handball. And I just hope that, like we said earlier, that there should be continuity. Teams like Imo Grasshoppers and the rest, could help other teams get to the top level. And, when it continues that way, then you can only expect the best from these handball players. In the past, we hardly had tournaments for so many years. But now, there are tournaments. The best teams in this country are competing against each other in Abuja. And it means that these are the glory days are back, Yemi.
Yeah.
And we hope and pray that this federation will sustain the momentum.
All right. We hope so. They'll sustain the momentum. All right, let's quickly go to London and link up with our man, Austin Okon-Akpan. Very excited to join us on the show tonight. Austin, it's good to have you join us tonight. We've talked about a whole lot of things. I don't know where you want to start from. We've talked about wrestling. We're currently talking about handball. But what's your take on what you heard Daniel Igali say about wrestling and his ambitions with regards to the Buru elections?
Good evening, Yemi. Good evening, Oyewuchi. And good evening to our viewers. Wherever you're in the world watching Sports Tonight on Channels TV, good to have you on the program. Yemi, it's good to be here. It's also good to have the show back again after a long break.
Yeah.
I listened to Daniel Igali. It's a good one for wrestling. It's heartwarming to hear that the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development are going to support our wrestlers to go for that World Championship. We know that the biggest enemy in the room for wrestling and other sports in Nigeria that understands everything about the sport and is ready to always give his all to take it to the next level. It's sad that funding is always pulling them back. So now that the ministry is beginning to listen to them, we just hope that it will motivate our wrestlers to go out there to make the country proud as they've always done.
Okay. I'll still probably ask one or two things to sort out, and we'll. Okay, I think he's still with us. Okay, yeah. Also, you can continue from what you were saying about Daniel Igali.
Yeah. I was talking about Daniel. Yeah, Daniel Igali going to the United World Wrestling. Really good one for wrestling administration in Nigeria. Daniel Igali has been there as an athlete. Olympic gold medalist. He's been supporting and promoting wrestling in Nigeria for years now. It will be good for him to go to the international level and bring some level of expertise. That will even give Nigeria some level of respect when talking about international wrestling. And he mentioned how refereeing helped him at the Olympics. Those are some of the international politics in sports that you need to place persons of influence from your region that can actually be an eye to some of the things that they do out there. So it's a really good one. I'm proud of what Daniel Igali has achieved and what he still wants to achieve for wrestling in Nigeria. For handball, Oyewuchi has said quite a number of things. We're glad that the handball is back. This is the third edition here, and it has been upset galores. In the opening match, Kano Pillars, the defending champions, they struggled against their opponents, the former champions, right there in Abuja. And it shows you that the league is getting competitive. The defending champions for the women's category, Safety Babes, lost their opening match. And debutants, Adorable Angels, won their opening match. Today, Borno Spiders turned Lagos Seasiders. That's what we're talking about. We love what handball is doing, leading the way for the return of contact sports in Nigeria. But we must put it out there, particularly for sports that want to come out they are respecting this on the show. And it says they have said it, fans will not be allowed to the stadium, and they will not. And that sometimes they even stop players from other teams to come to the venue if it exceeds the number that the Ministry of Health has given. So it's very important that we respect the safety protocols. The UK is going into a second lockdown. So this virus is no joke. We should put it out there that everybody that wants to come back must be ready to respect safety protocols so that we do not spread this virus.
All right, so that's very important to know. So let's go on with our conversation. We're making a three-way, try to engage you in some of the things we're going to talk about. But let me quickly come to Onyewuchi while still having Austin on with me. The LMC, League Management Company, have approved 13 stadiums for use for the upcoming season that already has a tentative date, I think November 15. Let's just see if we can have that list, 13 stadiums that has been cleared by the League Management Company to be used this season, and some put up for upgrades that they need to do, upgrade on some of those stadiums. Let's see the approved stadiums. The Tesla Balogun Stadium tops, that's the stadium in Lagos, tops the list. You have the Gospel Apabio Stadium in Uyo, Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City. You have Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Okigwe Township Stadium, Adoki Abaka Stadium in Port Harcourt. You have the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium in Bauchi, Patani Stadium, Gombe, Upper Aku Stadium in Makurdi. I mean, I've seen some pictures about it. I just hope it's a different Upper Aku Stadium in Makurdi. Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna, Eiba Stadium in Aba. I've been there once, and I hope it's still in good shape. Muhammadu Diko Stadium in Katsina, then Ilori Township Stadium. These are the 13. Let's stay on this for a while. I don't know if you agree with people who say, well, you've approved the stadium. You probably should put a little information out there. Not that anybody is questioning why this, for the sake of transparency and, they met so criteria. That is why. Because in times past, we've seen some stadiums approved, and we get to see those stadiums on TV, and you're asking yourself, we God's name approved this stadium? And that's why before we start seeing some of these pitches, some of these facilities, before we start seeing them on TV, probably a little bit of explanation as to why this scaled, why this one is told to upgrade, why this one. I don't know if you agree with people that are saying that.
Yeah, I think they gave some explanation, especially for the stadiums listed for upgrade. Some of them had only one exit. They had floodlight problem.
Yeah.
They had dressing room issues and all that. But Yemi, I think it's bad enough that we are still talking about venues in the 21st century. What it means is that we have not done the right thing for a very long time. At this level, it should be taken for granted that teams should play on very, standard facilities.
This is one of the stadiums.
At the moment, that's the Teslim Balogun Stadium. Some of the, I think part of the...
Agege, actually.
Yes,
Agege
Stadium. I beg your pardon.
There's the facelift.
Yeah, that's the facelift. Last year, before it was approved for continental games, there was a facelift.
Yeah.
Especially in the dressing room.
Serious upgrade.
Yeah, serious upgrade. The dressing room, the other exit and all that. But now the LMC has come out to say that it's not good enough. So what it means is that some of the things, it needs to be put in place. But like I was saying, Yemi, at this level, it should be taken for granted. I don't really envy the LMC because this will test their will. Yeah. Over the years, this situation has always arisen. The LMC will come up with upgrades. Sometimes, like you said, they'll send inspectors to some of these venues, and they will go and come back, submit their reports. The LMC will say, okay, these are the venues that will be approved. But along the line, their will be tested. Some state government, most of these clubs are owned by...
Start putting pressure.
Start putting the pressure, and they will cave in. I hope for this season, the LMC will stick to their gun.
Yeah.
Because their will be tested. You see, what we are saying is that let the right thing be done.
Yeah.
None of these clubs, for goodness sake, even have a training pitch. It's as bad as that.
You know what? Let's just quickly run through those who've been, and you've talked about some already, and the reasons given, I listen to you, and as far as the Agege Stadium, I think it's quite better than some of them, but it's my personal opinion anyway. So the ones that you have that have been listed for upgrades, there you have it on screen. Umaya Township Stadium, Duse Township Stadium, you have the Sonny Abacha Stadium in Kano, the Agege Stadium, Akure Township Stadium, you have the Warri City Stadium. These are some of the ones that are Nabi Ezekwe Stadium, New Jos Stadium, Lafia Township Stadium, Ifeanyi Stadium in Lewi. Then you have the Fure Stadium in Yola. And, you could mention one or two of some of these things, but I saw these pictures of these things on TV and it looked good. But then again, they have their reasons.
Yeah, I mean,
Like this is the one in Enugu, for instance.
And I think this is as a result of lack of maintenance.
Okay.
When this stadium was, when the pitch was laid, it was in fabulous condition. Some of the contractors who build these stadiums, stipulates maintenance procedure
for these facilities.
but they have not been followed. Well, when you look at the list, some of these venues in the first place shouldn't be hosting Premier League games. The Umaya Township Stadium, even the new coach, Imama Makpakabo, has complained about the pitch that the Abia Warriors will be playing on. Dushes Township Stadium is not even good enough for amateur football, amateur games. So I agree with the LMC. But like I said, their will be tested. They need to insist that Premier League games will be played
on approved stadium.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Austin. I want to bring him into this conversation about stadiums that have been approved. I know Iwuchi said something. We're about to go on a break in a minute or two. He said the will of the LMC will be tested. And what do you think will happen? Will they stick to their guns or will they bow to pressure? Because we might likely see some of those stadiums that have not been approved yet being allowed to play. And they say, make sure in 4 or 5 weeks it's ready.
And that's why we'll come in, Yemi. We'll come in as the media, we're the watchdog to the society, we'll ask questions. When Iwuchi was right, their will be tested. And we have said it a lot of times on this show that for the LMC to do the right things, they must step on toes. Let's start by asking questions. Even some of the stadiums that were approved, the Upper Aku Stadium, for years has gone on without maintenance. You've been to the Imba International Stadium since it was constructed. All of us liked it and applauded that renovation work.
Just like the one we have on screen as well.
Of maintenance.
Yeah, the Asaba Stadium that we have on screen. Exactly. A lot of good facility as well.
Yeah, I've been to the Asaba Stadium. Little bit of cracks here and there, and I've asked questions that why can't we just do things and then make them look good and then ensure that we keep them in a good working condition? That's the problem with infrastructure development in Nigeria. We put in so much money into these facilities and then we ignore maintenance. I like the fact that they have approved 13 grounds. Well, we could start with that, and some others are going to be look like. For instance, we're asking questions about Agege Stadium. Maybe they went there and they saw one or two things that they don't like, and they say, okay, please do this upgrade, and then we will certify you. We like that. But these are the things that you have approved. Make sure that they are actually top notch. Let it be good for TV. Because we keep saying that the first process for branding is television. If I go to a stadium and I can't even shoot good pictures from the stadium, no matter the quality of football that is played, the human eye will pick that bad thing about the stadium. And stadium are also good for branding. Branding is very important. Yeah, Manchester United says Old Trafford. You say you play at the Camp Nou, you play at San Siro. That's branding for the club itself. So our clubs should start thinking of ways to improve our stadium and use it for branding so it can attract more followership.
Okay, I need to put you on hold because we need to go on a break. There's still a lot to talk about. There's the UEFA Champions League. There's also the news from the Super Eagles camp. Let's go on that break and we'll return to talk about the Super Eagles, talk about stadium inspection, talk about the UEFA Champions League and some matches in the English Premier League. Join us again. All right, welcome back. We're pressed for time, actually. So let's quickly go to Austin. But before we do that, let's take a look at what's happening in England so that Austin can comment and we're on the home stretch. Okay, there you have it. Fulham beat West Brom 2-0. Lionel was on the score sheet. Leeds United and Leicester. Leicester seem to be running away with it right about now. Austin, we're pressed for time, but quickly, in about 45 seconds, do justice to what you just saw on your screen in the English Premier League.
Stunner of a goal scored by Ola. I love it so well, giving Fulham that needed victory. It was a game that we saw quite a number of Super Eagles players, and that right there will be a good one for Coach General to look at his players before that match against Sierra Leone. So I'm super excited for Ola. He didn't just score a goal; he scored a beautiful goal. The other matches we can just look at the results later.
Okay, all right. I also want to thank you for your time on the show today. Hopefully, we'll do this some other time.
Thank you, Harry.
All right. That's our man, Austin Okon-Akpan, right there in London. Oyewuchi, let's quickly, two things to talk about before we go. Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, NFF, was on inspection today. They said they're impressed with the facilities, and probably that's all we need to know.
Yeah, the stadium is brand new, refurbished for the sports festival before the COVID-19 pandemic delayed the games, and I think it's in tip-top shape.
Right.
But more importantly, I think the Nigerian Football Federation should convince the Edo State government not to throw the gates open.
Yeah.
I like Governor Samuel Governor
Gordon
Obaseki, but that move is a recipe for disaster.
Especially with COVID-19.
Especially with the COVID-19
situation.
And the players from Europe already got words from the NFF to protect them. Their clubs.
All right.
So anything that is going to cause problems should be avoided.
All right.
The gates should not be thrown open. Let every fan, this is the #1 football brand in Nigeria. Let every football fan pay. That will also help check
reduce number of people at the stands. Okay,
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Let's just quickly, before we wrap things up on the show, let's quickly touch up on Paul Onuachu. He has taken up Moses Simon's place. Moses Simon got injured in the game against PSG. So Paul Onuachu replaces him in the squad that will face him.
Yeah, so sad for Moses Simon, and a very enterprising winger. Has been doing so well in the French league after going on loan and signing a permanent deal. But for Paul Onuachu, some of his advocates have said he deserves a place in the national team on the strength of his performance for his club in Belgium. And he has been doing so well. He's a top scorer in the Belgian league. And it was not a difficult decision for Genetro, to just replace him with Moses Simon.
All right. Let's see if we can take a look at the Champions League fixtures. If we can, let's see if we can do that before we go. Matches to be played tomorrow in the UEFA Champions League. Let's see if we can quickly give that to you. And I know we may not be able to talk about it, but you have some interesting matches. Lokomotiv Moscow up against Atletico Madrid. RB Salzburg up against Bayern Munich. Shakhtar Donetsk up against Borussia Mönchengladbach. You have Real Madrid up against Inter Milan. Manchester City up against Olympiacos. Atalanta up against Liverpool. FC Midtjylland up against Ajax. These are the matches to look forward to tomorrow in the UEFA Champions League. Parting shots, Oyewuchi Nwachukwu?
Yeah, we hope that Nigerian players in some of these clubs in the UEFA Champions League will pull their weight and do so well so that they can replicate that form for the Super Eagles. And for the national team too, we pray that the players will be injury-free. Okay. We need our best players to seal the tickets. Yeah. If we're able to get victories in the double header, we're already through to AFCON 2021 in Cameroon.
All right, so that's a wrap on the show today. It feels good to be back. Of course, we'll be back here again tomorrow. But I want to thank you for your time.
Always a pleasure.
I appreciate having you today. Hopefully, we'll do this some other time.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for today. We'll be back here again tomorrow, take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye.